Very good evening and welcome to our coverage of this live PL2 match between Chelsea and Southampton from Kingsmeadow. The Blues looking for a strong end to the season. The Saints just hoping to stay in the division. Kickoff is moments away and we have all the action live. Let's have a look at how the Blues got on in their previous match. It was a 1-1 draw away to West Ham on Tuesday of last week. All the action in the second half here. The Hammers going ahead 10 minutes after the restart through Corbett. But Chelsea have shown their resilience in recent weeks and they got themselves level. George McEachran from the penalty spot. Cool as you like to level up that 13 minutes from time. 1-1 was how it finished. So as a result of that, this is how the PL2 table looks going into the fixture tonight. Chelsea, fourth. They could potentially go third above Spurs, but Spurs are also in action tonight. As you can see, Manchester City racing away with it, 8 points clear at the top of the table. But look at Southampton. Such a productive academy in recent years, but they've mustered just 4 wins from their 20 games so far. A win could move them out of the relegation zone. It's the bottom 2 that go down in PL2. Again, though, they are dependent on what happens elsewhere tonight. 2 other 7 o'clock kickoffs. Derby against Arsenal and Leicester against Spurs. And as you can see, those matches having ramifications at both ends of the table. But it is Kingsmeadow where our focus is tonight. Former Chelsea youth player Sam Parkin is alongside me for this evening's game. Sam, on the one hand, you'd say Chelsea not too much to play for in terms of the PL2 table. They're not going to retain their title, but as we've always said about development football, there's no such thing as a dead rubber. Some of these players will be playing for their futures and playing to impress some of those people we can see watching on.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time you step out there at this level, there could be someone who's going to impact your future career. That said, I suppose target second position for the remainder of this season. Manchester City look like they've maybe gone, but to definitely finish as high as second would be a good achievement, considering I suppose the drop points of recent weeks and months, and get back to scoring goals. We're so accustomed to seeing free scoring Chelsea teams, under 18s, under 23s. It's not really been the case with this side this season. Creating plenty of chances in the last few weeks, just need to start turning them into goals.
Yeah, maybe not the free-flowing football we've come to expect in the last couple of months, but Chelsea certainly have turned themselves into an obdurate opponent and beaten in the last 5 matches. Problem is that they've drawn 4 of those, which has prevented the Blues moving up the table. Remember, reigning champions, it was called on points per game last season. Let's have a look at how the Blues will line up for this evening's match. 5 changes from that game against West Ham. The fact that Chelsea have got a Youth Cup tie on Thursday heavily influencing things tonight. The likes of Tino Livramento and Lewis Bate, who we'd normally see not involved. Silko Thomas gets a PL2 debut. He's only 16 years old. You might have seen him for the under-18s this season. Other people to look out for: Tieno Ballo's having a terrific season, scored in the reverse fixture when these two met. Also a first PL2 start for Declan Frith, who's recently signed for Chelsea after a successful trial. We might see Xavier Mbuyamba later on as well, the much talked about Dutch player who signed from Barcelona in the summer but has been injured since then. See if he gets some minutes. But this is the team which starts the game. George Nunn spearheading the attack. Andrew and Lewis will play just in behind him. It's been a tough selection for him. Doesn't have some of his regulars involved today, Andy Myers, but believes there's enough quality to get past the Southampton team, which is a pretty strong one. It features 3 players who have had first-team football this season, albeit Kane Ramsey and Alan Chapchep will probably wish that they hadn't, because it was in that 9-0 hammering against Manchester United. Danon Lundalu is a player who scored for the first team this season. He did that against Shrewsbury in the FA Cup. He's somebody you've seen at close quarters, Sam. It's not really a surprise that they have added that bit of first-team experience, given how precarious their league position is.
Yeah, good experience for this level. Was impressed with him on that night. Lundalu against Shrewsbury got a goal very early on, led the line well. He'll be a threat, and anticipating them mirroring what's been so successful in their first team. Definitely looking at the comments of their manager from previous post-match interviews this season, all about the intensity, the pressing, the the pressure they put on the opposition when they're trying to play out, and Chelsea navigated it brilliantly. I think it was in the second game of the season, running out, had some victors, and they'll be looking for something similar tonight. But I expect this to be a tough test just because of those ingredients I just spoke of. High energy, won't give Chelsea too much time to settle.
Yeah, mainly teenagers in the Southampton side, Ramsey and Lundaloo, the exceptions to that. Dave Horseman is the man who is in charge of them. Starting the day bottom of the table, just 16 points from their 20 matches so far. We often talk about striking the right balance between development and results at this level of football. Something that they have struggled with this season. Well, before the game here, as we've seen all around the weekend, we are going to have a period of silence. See the players lined up around the centre circle in memory of His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, who passed away on Friday. Well, there is Silko Thomas, big night for him. Mentioned he'd been impressing for the under-18s. He's actually among the nominees for Chelsea's Goal of the Month for March. And actually, Sam, big shoes he's got to fill, because Tino Livramento has been instrumental for this team this season. He's only missed one game, and so often we've seen a lot of Chelsea's threat come from down that right side, where Thomas is going to start tonight.
Yeah, he had a brilliant purple patch at the start of the season, racking up the assists. Obviously got fouled for the penalty last time out as well, so yeah, been a big player for him. Tariq Lamptey, wasn't he, bombarding down that right-hand side, winning so many penalty kicks. Meant to do it similarly the other day.
Stay in. Hit the last step. Short switch. Short switch.
Well, you can expect Southampton to come out all guns blazing. Sam mentioned their style of play, but also their desperation for points. They'll be hoping that Chelsea don't have the same motivation. Beautiful evening for football, that's for sure. Ethan Wadey between the posts for Chelsea tonight. The American, it's only his third game in PL2 this season. He played a couple of matches in February against Arsenal and Liverpool.
Jump. Last step.
There's Thomas.
Last step.
You see that high Southampton press there.
Down, you're fine. You can close to the front.
Yeah,
good. Okay, good there. That's it, Dan. The second he throws forward, just close that net. Let's sound from all sides. Go.
Thomas was a little short. Will be another Chelsea throw-in now.
Switch away. Good. Jumping Kane.
Jack Bycroft is the goalkeeper for Southampton. He's played a lot of first-team football this season in the National League, actually on loan at Weymouth. Morris well forward from left back just for a moment. That's Burnett's ball to find him, and Morris has crossed into the penalty area, but flag had gone up for offside.
They just leave the one, Kane. They just leave the one. If it's this side, Alan can go as tight as you like. You just sweep up the eye. Split the two, James, please.
Chelsea just the one win in their last 8 matches in TL2, but they have been good at home. Only beaten here once so far this season. Here's Angerin, clearly tripped. So influential to the way this Chelsea side play when he's on his best form, Tino Angerin.
Higher, Romello! Higher, Romello! If he goes, you've got to jump!
Simeon going all the way back to Wadey.
Romello, steady! Slide! You should still poke! Good!
Be a Chelsea throw again.
Now, if you can win it and short switch it away, there's space on the ball away 10. Ready? Hey, close to the front, Dan, go! Move! Move! Go on, from the front! From the front!
Andrew's there, to link up with McEachran. Not that time there. Southampton certainly snapping into the challenges early on here.
Romello, stay in your slot, Romello. Stay in your slot. Follow the lane down as he's thrown. Come on, come on. Let's go!
Thomas did well to get that through. It was back to him by Thomas.
Good.
Here's Simeon back in the side. Not started a PL2 game since he might have joined us for the game at Leicester at the start of last month. And he's in tonight. And this ball there just a little too long for Nunn, but goalkeeper come a long way from home and had to put it into the stands.
That's fine. Wait. No, wait.
Here's McClelland.
Now you're poking.
First time, Sam, we've seen Chelsea get a bit of sustained possession. We were expecting a fast start from Southampton.
Yeah, expect them to come out the blocks fast. Chelsea have to bypass that aggressive style of closing down from the front, but should be able to manipulate the ball nicely and get it into that midfield duo.
Go on, step. That's time, well done. So if that space presents itself even further with the ball, you can come in. Split the two of them. Come in, yeah.
Simeon got it up to halfway, but it quickly came back again. There's McEachran moving it on for Dujon Sterling. I was about to use his pace, but instead he's moved it out to the left wing. Here's Marcel Lewis. Barged off the ball, but fairly, according to the referee, by Ramsey.
Central. Switch.
Ballo, slightly deeper role than we've seen in of late for Tiano Ballo.
No splits. Yes, Dan, higher, Dan. Higher. Go on, get up. Slide. You're the ball thief. Higher, slide. Slide. No splits. No splits. No splits. Go. No, you. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine, Dan. Not that one. Sam, that's you.
Well, Dave Horseman, clearly from the 85 Ash School of Coaching. Sam, do you want that in your ear while you're playing the game the whole time? Does it just become white noise after a while?
Well, I'm well schooled in that because I had Mick McGibbon on this very ground bellowing at me consistently. Thankfully, I wasn't a wide player. John Harley, who's the assistant manager tonight, would have had it throughout 90 minutes, well, certainly throughout 45 minutes when he was playing on that far side. That's where the dugouts used to be. So, no, as long as it's good advice, it's encouraging, don't mind that at all. And obviously, listening to him in the opening 5 minutes there, it's all about getting after the opposition, isn't it? Closing down, hunting in packs, everything that we've anticipated. Chelsea have had a little bit of the ball. Dujon Sterling's had a couple of nice touches. Interested to see how he does. Left side, I know he's played it a couple of times and been in really good form by all accounts after having a real tricky injury to overcome. So hoping that he can stay injury-free, maybe go and play some football, start of next season. I'm sure he will be very keen to get his career kick-started once more.
Here he is on the ball, Sterling.
Good. Take it
Did
up.
have a season at Wigan, but hamstring injury and illness kept him out for over a year. Simiyu up toward Andrew. First time we've seen him get on the ball. Probably would have liked to have played on there, but he's taking the free kick quickly. Trying to pick out the run of Marcel Lewis. Andrew again feeling like he was fouled there, that time by Ryan Finnegan. Referee didn't agree. Sterling pushes it down the line. Frith allowing Sterling to take over, and the result of that is Chelsea get the first corner of the night.
A really positive play, and that's what he's going to bring from that position, left-sided centre-half. He obviously is used to playing as a wing-back. He'll get forward every opportunity, I would suggest. Real powerful run, and we know that great quality as well when he gets into the dangerous areas.
Worked all the way back to Andrew, and he's going to have a thump. Oh, and it bounced off the goalkeeper awkwardly. Had to shovel it behind for another corner.
A really good effort, stinging drive towards the near post. Always going to be comfortable to keep out for the goalkeeper. It's whether he can push it away from danger. He does it well.
Oh, and what an opportunity then for Sam McClelland from the corner. And again, Bycroft called into action.
Maybe just stretching somewhat. Tino Andrew in with a lovely pick out, clipped in towards McClelland. Yeah, he's just stretching. You want to head that back where it's come from. Would have been a comfortable finish had it been a yard lower.
Here's Lewis. Chelsea finding their feet in the game now. Andrew went for the floater again, didn't get it right that time. Southampton beaten 3-0 at Brighton on Friday. Lost 5 of their last 6 games and 4 in a row. Some heavy defeats in that time too. They were beaten 7-1 at Manchester City, 5-1 at Blackburn, both last month. Frith giving chase to this, but barged off the ball by Chapshay.
Yes, higher Kazim. Higher Kazim. Steady. No splits, Dan. That's you. Come across, Dan. There you go. Dan,
What are splits? Do you know?
Dan, high. Go on in.
Seems to be a common theme from the Southampton bench.
I suppose it's just getting your distances right from your teammates when you're going and closing.
It's a very, very high press that they're employing.
Just making sure that this first pass can't be threaded through the line into the midfield players. See the front four all putting pressure on the Chelsea player who's receiving it off the goalkeeper Wadey.
Chapshay could see that out of play for a throw.
I always think it takes real discipline from one of the strikers. It looks like it's Bellis is playing slightly deeper. He'll be the one to drop in, and I think that's when Southampton's first team were getting great success. It was always because one of those had to really identify these situations when he had to make up the extra body in the midfield. So it takes real discipline. Even if you're playing with a front two, one of you has to be switched on at all times just to make sure you don't get outnumbered, which is obviously inevitable this era of football when teams rarely play 4-4-2.
Here is Bellis. Trying to cut it back for Nlundulu rather than go for goal himself because he didn't have much of an angle. He's and Southampton a corner.
Set it up. Set it up.
Dijon Sterling was in the right place to make the intervention.
Kazim, don't do it until they're ready.
Elaine with the corner. Good delivery as well. Simiyu got something on it. Chelsea struggling to get it clear though. And fired wide, but not by much.
Face the ball, Jones, here.
Yeah, Simiyu's always really competitive from wide deliveries. He does just about enough there. Shrugged off the ball. Ndulu That's a little snapshot. Just misses. First chance of the game, really, from Southampton perspective, and probably should have ended up in the back of the net.
Stay in. Good. Switch away.
Well, the early signs are good. Both sides intent on attacking. McClellan winning a good header against London. That's a good physical matchup between those two.
Good, Romello. James, you could be higher on the 10, James. James, that could be you. Go on. Ethan! Ethan! Come on! James, pull Ethan over. Stay in!
Wadey deciding to get rid of that first time with an Lundaloo, trying to close him down. Scissor action on the tackle from George Nunn will always result in a free kick. Up to him to try and get the likes of Marcel Lewis and Tino Andrin involved whenever Chelsea get it, George Nunn, isn't it? He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but a very effective hold-up player.
Yeah, important job for him, especially if it's going to have to be, you know, bypassing the midfield at times, clipped into him. But expect Marcel Lewis and Andrin to make those forward penetrative runs as well, especially when the fullbacks are pushed on, which I anticipate them doing. Here we go, the left-back in a good advanced area. Will leave a lot of space for Andrin and Marcel Lewis, who are both very strong runners to burst into.
Andrin with two at his back, and he got away from them easily, and Southampton have committed numbers forward here. And Andrin's found Marcel Lewis. Thomas is up there with him, Nunn's in the middle. It wasn't the worst cross in the world, but there were more red and white shirts in the penalty area than there were blue ones. Hopeful from Lundaloo. Potty mouthed as well. Apologies if you heard something that you would rather have not.
Get him up. Slide towards the ball. Slide up. Ryan, red zone. Get ready. Higher, Sam. Higher, Sam. Higher. Ready, it's coming.
Really comfortable with the ball at his feet, as you've got to be these days, of course.
Good.
It's going to be an education tonight, isn't it? Ryan Finnegan just told to get in the red zone. That's the central midfield player.
I thought that was a bad place to be for a footballer. I thought it meant you were about to get injured.
He's about to get subbed, yeah. 13 minutes in. But yeah, I mean, it's great instruction, isn't it? And obviously it'll be something that they work on the training ground day after day. So they're under no uncertain terms about how they have to go about things. And it's good to have an ethos running for a club, you know, because when they get to join in with a first-team group, they know exactly what the manager expects of you.
Get up! No, play! Play! Slide!
One back by McEachran, asking Frith to chase it. Tackle was well timed by Otsi Taiwo.
Good, get up! Good, good!
Again, and Lundaloo looking for the free kick from McClelland. He got it that time. Took it quickly too.
Speed up! Speed up! Come on, James!
And he's got support.
Stay in!
Elaine and Morris, who's more like a left winger than a left back, were up there.
Good, good. Kane, tighter. Go on, you go right in. Stay there, James. You can go as high as you like, Kane.
Started off really well here at Kingsmeadow this season, Chelsea.
Go on.
Won the first 6 home games of the season, but after the turn of the year, things have stuttered somewhat. Just 1 win from the subsequent 4 here.
Slide, quickly, towards the ball, Kane, over. Steady now, steady, you can poke. Romello, that's Sam. Romello, that one's Sam. Steady, higher, Dan, you go higher here, go on, higher, get up. Go on, get up.
Ziyech looking long this time.
Good, perfect, go on in. Close to the front. Close to the front. Good, James. Hey, come on from the front. If he turns back, you tackle him.
Early goal elsewhere that affects both these teams. Leicester have gone in front against Spurs. Leicester a place and a point above Southampton. Spurs a place and 2 points above Chelsea. Fair to say that Southampton with a greater concern over other results. They want to be playing PL2 Division 1 football next season. So a loose one from McClelland. bit of a cooler character on the touchline than his opposite number tonight, Andy Myers. He will give instruction, but he will let the players think for themselves as well. Lane moving it out to Unlundaluk to try a trick to get past Simiyu, and ended up fouling him.
Having a good spell at the moment. Lovely feet initially, Unlundaluk, but just overcooked the ball here. Simiyu able to defend, gets his body in the way, wins the decision.
Good header won by Nunn. Here's Lewis.
Higher, Sam Bellis. Higher, Dan. Go on, up. Higher. Go on, Dan. Closer to the centre back. You're a ball thief now. Higher. Ryan,
Ball thief, was that? I mean, we could have had the night off, really, Sam, couldn't we?
Yeah. It's interesting, though, isn't it? It's very interesting. Again, it's really clear, the instruction, how they're trying to go about tonight's performance and get something here. It's whether you can maintain it, I think, a lot of the time, especially if this is, you know, something that hasn't been, you know, natural through the age groups. This is something probably, what, 18 months, 2 years that they've been playing in this fashion. So a lot of it's built on fitness as well, I think. The intensity of the front players having to get through a lot of work early on in this game. It's whether they can keep up. Obviously, that's what your substitutes are for, but obviously your quality is out there right now, isn't it? Your main quality.
Like a foul on McEachran, but play's going on. Here's Morris. Got himself in a great position to cross, but only had one player to aim the ball at. Mitchell. His opposite number, Andrew, and just easing him off the ball. Here's Nunn. 4-1 when these two met in Southampton back at the start of the season. Haven't actually played in PL2 very often. This is only the fifth meeting of the two sides. Chelsea have won 3 of the previous 4. No Southampton wins in that time.
Stay in! Stay in! Early on.
And then looking to put the pressure on Chapche and forced him to go all the way back to the goalkeeper.
Come on! Well done. Well done, Sam Bellis. Well done, Dan. Stay higher, Dan. Dan, off the shoulder of the 2 here. Dan, off the shoulder of the 2 here. Go on, up. Closer to Sam Bellis.
Well, if Dave Osman takes a breath and thinks about it, he'll probably be quite happy with how the opening 20 minutes have gone. Southampton, the team on top at the moment.
Yeah, making it difficult for the Chelsea defenders in particular to pick their passes. Been put under pressure, and maybe just takes a little bit of time to work out exactly how you're going to get success. Switches of play is one. You know, they get a lot of bodies around the ball. You see again here, just need to switch it nice and quickly, otherwise you get forced into doing this, and then there's huge onus on George Nunn to do what he's doing quite successfully so far, actually. He's won a couple of big headers, gives a free kick away there, but yeah, switches of play, and already spoken about Lewis and Andrew. If you can move it quickly, 1, 2, maybe even 3 passes, and then just turn it down the sides for them to run in behind. Could be an avenue for getting Chelsea up the pitch as well, but I think a lot of it as well is just takes a little bit for the game to settle down when a team's playing with this pressure at the top of the pitch.
That's a great flick on from Nunn for Marcel Lewis. Andrew in there. Thomas arriving too. This is Tiano Ballo, short for George McEachran. Problem though for George Nunn is why the referees stopped play. Well, whatever it was, it looks as though he's okay. The referee must have thought it was a head injury, which is why he brought the play to a halt.
It's a shame, wasn't it? Because they were able to keep the ball in the final third for probably one of the first times in the opening 20 minutes. I think McEachran was on the ball around about where he is now, looking to prise open the opposition. Him and Ballo have had to work really hard for very little ball so far, just trying to make themselves available. Obviously closing down the opposition, but haven't been able to get on the ball and showcase their good ability as of yet.
Mentioned that the Youth Cup has affected selection for this match as far as Chelsea go. We will be bringing you live coverage of Chelsea's 5th round match against Everton on Thursday. It's a 12:30 lunchtime kickoff. Draw for the quarter-finals already been made. Chelsea will play either West Brom or Spurs should they make it through to the last 8. Here's Marcel Lewis. Now Ballo. Worked it short in looking for Andrew, who goes down, and some half-hearted penalty appeals. Good play from Elenia there, but Underloo not quick enough to react to the loose ball.
Down, higher. Higher. Good. Good. Alan, shoulders open, Alan. Get up.
Now Andrew. Difficult one for him to bring down and control. Managed to get Chelsea back in possession though. This is Declan Frith.
Get up. Nice, Romero.
He has had a taste of action, Frith. He came off the bench against Liverpool here in February. Looking to make the most of his first start in this competition tonight.
Narrow it, Kazim. Steady now, Sam. Steady up. Steady, Dan. Well done. Well done. You can poke him. Go on and down. High. Sam!
Thomas.
Oh, fuck's sake, Sam. Go on. Oh, my God, ref. Ref. Ready? Z! Z! Yeah, I know, but he needs to get across quicker. Tell him.
McEachran had a bit of experience to this Chelsea side since the turn of the year. A couple of loans that haven't worked out for various reasons, mostly beyond his control, so he's back with this team.
Higher, Sam! Higher, Sam! Sam! Get up, higher! Higher, in comes James!
McClellan looking long. It's a good ball to Thomas. Nice touch from him to Lewis. Nunn making his move. Oh, that's so unlucky. It's a really nice ball from Marcel Lewis. Just bent it round the defender, hoping Nunn could get a toe to it.
Yeah, good football. Lewis has played a couple of nice passes. Alan Chapchak finds himself in a really poor position. He's about 10 yards in front of his centre-half partner. George Nunn just drifts into a good centre-forwards position. Just couldn't bring it under his spell.
Lewis, nice reverse ball to Ballo. Can he pick out Angerin? Chapchak made sure that he couldn't and put it behind for corner number 4 of the first half for the Blues.
Yeah, it's definitely the space behind the fullbacks where Chelsea need to pinpoint, because when they're closing Chelsea down, when they're pressing, essentially they've got a front 4, then the 2 central midfield players, then the 2 fullbacks, leaving the 2 centre-halves kind of back there alone. Loads of space in the wide areas, so just a couple of quick passes and then they need runners, Chelsea, into those types of areas.
This is there for a short one. Oh, it's a good leave from Nunn for Dinel Simiu coming in at the back post. Might have been a flag up there for offside, actually, which would spare his blushes.
I'd be surprised if the flag wasn't raised on this near side. McEachran thinks in a lovely ball, just doesn't direct it with the left side foot. Should have scored.
Bycroft had originally planned to play this short, but it looks as though the presence of those Chelsea players on the edge of his box. No, he has switched it left-hand side, and Lewis looks to get the block in. Got something on the ball. Clever header from McEachran.
Ready? As soon as he throws it, go, go, go! Perfect hand, perfect hand.
1-1 now between Leicester and Spurs elsewhere. Situation at the bottom looks as though it's a fight between Southampton, West Ham and Leicester for the 2 places that nobody wants, although Arsenal only 4 points above the drop zone, so not totally safe themselves. Saints, though, only 3 games left after this, including a crunch one at Leicester this time next week. Nunn is going to chase his own flick on here. Bycroft had reacted to that well, came well out of his area and just dealt with the situation. Apologies again for the bad language. Can't even blame that on immaturity because it came from the coach.
I'm going to have nightmares here. It's 25 years since my name, Sam, was being bellowed across this exact pitch because I wasn't working hard enough or whatever. There's Sam on both sides, isn't there?
I'll tell you if you're not working hard this tonight.
That never happened. Creative license.
This is Zuriel Otsi-Taiwo. Big thump upfield from Bycroft.
Good, good, get up, hey! Higher, Dan, higher, Dan.
Just about span out of play.
Get up, higher. So if he goes deep early, you can go high. If he looks like he's going to run behind, just check the run. Ryan!
Angerin, an easy ball to control, managed to work it to Nunn. Did really well to steer it back to him. Now then, Tino Angerin finding Silko Thomas. Can he get the shot off here? He just dwelt on it a little bit, and that allowed Morris to get back and get the block in.
Yeah, multiple options, didn't he, Tino Angerin? Lovely play from Nunn. He's actually produced some really nice touches when they've been able to get the ball into him. And just got caught a little bit under his feet, didn't he? Maybe had to be struck first time, or a bigger touch to take it infield onto his left side.
Look at this from Tino Angerin, meanwhile.
He just lost control of it, didn't he, again? Maybe bringing that infield where he could have curled a shot left-footed instead of trying to get onto his stronger right. Already done the left back.
Sam, you've got to go with him. Sam, come on, Romello. Come on, Romello. Get him in your shadow. Slide, Ryan. Ryan.
Frith.
Good.
That's a cruncher of a tackle. The referee didn't like it, and he's going to dig into his pocket and show the first yellow card. Frith, to his credit, bounced back up straight away there, but he could hear the contact when the two came together. And Kane Ramsey's going to have to tread carefully for the next hour or so.
And misses the ball, doesn't he? It is fortunate, probably, that he's been able to just, as you say, Matt, spring back to his feet and walk away from the challenge. It was a poor one.
Hey, Kane, I think you could be a higher line. Ethan, every detail. Sam, you're the one you could detach for the 9.
Well, we know the quality that George McEachran's got from a dead ball situation. Might favour Marcel Lewis this side.
Make sure they know the angle and then to defend the second contact. Come on, tell him, tell him. Sam, Sam.
Oh, it's a good ball in for Simiyu. Again, another good-headed chance for Daniel Simiyu. That time he was all alone.
We need to take advantage of these opportunities because we're seeing their Achilles heel, if you like, Southampton. That's probably 3 balls into the box that Chelsea have been able to get a touch on the ball. Should have ended up in a goal, really. Not picking up the opposition at all, Southampton, when the ball goes into their box.
Here. Dan, do the mill. Kerr's coming in. Higher. He can't throw it between the two. You intercept it. Yeah, ref. Come on, ready? Second through it. Go. Everybody go.
Thomas did well there. Second time round to get it back to Ballo. Here's Lewis. Trying to bring Frith into it. Lewis offering the width. A slack one that came off Ballo, and Lewis will chase it down, and Bycroft's actually done well there. Again, good reactions from the goalkeeper. He's spotted the danger and snuffed it out on a few occasions now.
Yeah, really good play. Starts with Silko Thomas on the right-hand side. Lewis picked up a great position and gets the opportunity. Fortunate ricochet, but so sharp around the box. Maybe could have just taken it around the goalkeeper and waited for the collision.
Lewis sends the corner in. Oh, and Tino Angerin, the latest to miss a good-headed chance for Chelsea.
Yeah, he's up nice and early. Tino Angerin at the near post. Lewis getting plenty of whip on that delivery. In between 2 Southampton players, and will be disappointed that hasn't gone on the target.
Alan, up you come then. Come on, Kane. Up. Come on, up. Down, pin him.
Mycroft will go long this time.
Ryan, you've got to do a better job in blocking. You can't have a free header, you've got to block. Good. Stand up.
Nicely done from Thomas again. So a couple of nice touches early on. Here's none. No angle for a shot at the moment.
Good.
A couple of occasions, just decision-making inside the penalty areas let Chelsea down.
Yeah, but I think they'll be feeling positive. They've been able to kind of bypass the central defenders on occasions quite easily. Andrew with a bit of movement, ball in behind for none. Yeah, just a little bit hesitant with his decision-making in the end, but getting into good positions, and that back line of Southampton a little bit lopsided. Not getting their distances correct in that regard. It's been very impressive. The other end of the pitch, the way they've stopped Chelsea, but defensively looking certainly like Chelsea can make chances against them.
Thomas looking to do just that. Clearance away wasn't particularly convincing from Ramsey, nor was the follow-up shot from Ballo.
His first sight of goal, really. Ballo, probably a bit of frustration there, 35 minutes in, unable to get on the ball and stamp his authority on this game, given the form that he's been in. Just cuts across it and misses the target by quite a distance.
Yeah, 2021's really been the year of Tiano Ballo for this team. That goal he got in the reverse at the start of the campaign, but he scored 5 times since the turn of the year in PL2.
He must have featured in more or less every position in midfield or the front line. I've certainly seen him play as a 9, 10. He's playing as a deep line midfielder today, so versatility very important and having a really good spell.
Again, Firth is the man fouled. He's getting a bit of treatment over on that side. Not see Taiwo, the offender that time.
You're right, go on, up. Got it, perfect. Straight to the ball.
It's a robust and too strong challenge on Silko Thomas. Less than 10 minutes of the first half to play. Chelsea have had the better of the chances, so Southampton have had moments themselves.
Now you look, go on, you're the booster, Ryan. Good, Kane. Get up. There you are. Yes, Dan. Yes, Dan. Good, Yes, Kazim, you're jumping. Yes, Dan. Perfect. Perfect, speed up.
Here's Olaine
Yes, Kazim.
finding a Lunderloo. Boxed in by 3 Chelsea players, and the key touch there was from Simiyu.
You could be as aggressive on the rest defence as you want.
McClelland.
If he's going, you're all going. Kane, step in. Perfect, Kane. Get in. Get in. Come on, closing that. Dan, if you could do this one, Dan, you do the next one, you stay in. Ready?
Here's Simiyu. Big night for him. Southampton boy. Played that one in to the channel for George Nunn to give chase to. Chapchek did enough.
Romello, you should be in behind Sam. Bring that line up. Come on, bring the net in. Get right. Second balls. Excellent.
Well done, Lunderloo. Bellis gave it him back.
Stay in. Come on, Alan, tighter.
Lewis will look to get Chelsea on the front foot again. Might come for none anyway. Chapchek's looked a little uncertain with a few touches.
Passes, Ethan. Good, moving quick. Nice game.
Such fine margins, isn't it? Because Southampton nearly getting at one end, and they can't nick the ball when they go hunting, when Chelsea win it back, and then Marcel Lewis breaks through them. He's away. Just a little bit of lack of quality in his final pass for Nunn, but from Southampton being in the Chelsea box very quickly, players taken out of the game because they go after Chelsea so aggressively. Nearly ends in a good chance for Chelsea.
Back in. Yep, ready.
Bellis and Simiyu, the 2 players getting a talking to from referee Matthew Russell.
Actually defended pretty well in this first half. They've limited Southampton to that one early chance, wasn't it, from the set piece. And Lunderloo's done some good work, but not in areas that's hurt Chelsea at all. So it's more about working out how they can get joy at the other end, because they've been nice and compact defensively. Not shown that they've got much of a threat to this point, Southampton. Still plenty of time, but yeah, more just Chelsea working out how they can get joy going the other way.
Morris. That's carelessly given away by Finnegan. How do you feel about that if you're Dinel Simiyu and you can hear the opposition coach telling his players that you're struggling?
I can't see him. He's not picked up an injury, is he? Oh, there we go.
Looks like he's all right.
That was the response you wanted.
Chelsea themselves only 4 games left after today. Finished with a double-header against Blackburn. Also got Spurs and Manchester United to play.
Kazim, you can swim in that red zone there. Go on. Go on. Go on, it's perfect for you. Stay high. Stay high. Stay high. Dan, that's you. Go on, go on.
McEachran.
Sam, come on, Sam. Get across. Go on. Good ball win. It's ref.
And Lundalou's managed to pinch it back off Thomas and win a free kick.
He's a good focal point for them, isn't he? His touch has been nice and secure, but a lot of his good work has been down on this left-hand side, and they've lacked a bit of presence in the middle. They certainly haven't any chances come from the middle of the pitch, but he's definitely a good link player.
Go on, Dan. Central, go.
Not the biggest wall that Chelsea have constructed here. Alain whipped it in toward Lundaloo. It bounced up awkwardly, but Wadey was able to grab it.
There's a decent ball in, and he'll be frustrated, the centre forward, because he knows he's just got to get a little flick on that. It would have been really tricky for Wadey. Yeah, took George Nunn out of the game. McClellan was in a decent position, but again, it dropped in an area where the centre forward may have felt that he could have got something on it.
Lovely footwork from Alain, meanwhile. Ballo got the ball back off him legally. Referee closer than us to the action.
Give him a pass. Alan's on, Dan. Alan's on. Good lad. Good, go central, you. Good, good. Romello, shoulders.
Flag up here against Sam Bellis.
Yes, Dan, go on, good from you. Well done. Well done, Kazim. Very good, well done, good. No splits. Sam, that'll be you. You can keep Romello in here. Romello, turn and tackle. Kazim. Romello, turn and tackle.
McClellan took the free kick.
Well done.
Ballo's had her out for a throw. Might be that in terms of opportunities for a first half goal.
And if the 7 wants to come in, then James needs to come late. Quickly!
Derby have just taken the lead against Arsenal elsewhere. Derby starting the night level on points with Chelsea. That was short from Chapchet.
Go on! Good, stay in! Stay in! Yes, yes, Dan. Central. Daz,
McEachran switching it to Thomas.
Come on, double up.
Here's Lewis.
Get up, Kay. Good, good, get up. Yes, Romello. Slide, Romello. Yes, Dan, slide. Sam.
Patient play from Chelsea, but the clock is against them.
Come on, Ethan, get over.
Fifth trip then. There's time to take the free kick too.
Set up, Dan. Quick, get organised.
Let's see, Taiwo's got to be getting close to a yellow card. Well, it wasn't actually him who made the final contact, I beg his pardon. It was Mitchell.
Not had loads of the ball, the two wide players, but done quite well, haven't they? When they've been able to receive possession, winning a few fouls in dangerous areas, linked up quite well with Lewis in particular over there, Frith.
In comes the ball, Andrew inflicted on. Didn't get quite the contact he was looking for, and none couldn't get a toe to it either. Chances have been headers by and large.
Yeah, another good chance. Just zonally marking, aren't they? Not touch tight to the Chelsea players. Andrew in with another opportunity, very similar to the one that was forthcoming, what, 5-10 minutes ago. Just flashed past the far post.
get that line right, back in. You know what I mean? Make it hard, make it hard!
A goalless first half then. Southampton came out the traps flying, but Chelsea have had the better of the opportunities. Tino Andrin seen a couple of headers go wide, and El Simu's had chances too. But room for improvement for both of these sides. It's almost a must-win game for Southampton, but they've struggled to really threaten Ethan Wadey's goal. Work for Andy Myers and John Harley to do at the break at Kings Meadow, where the score in this PL2 match is Chelsea 0, Southampton 0. Well, as you are no doubt aware, Chelsea take on Porto in the second leg of the Champions League quarter-final tomorrow night. The game, like the first leg, taking place in Seville. The Blues touched down there earlier today. There has been a press conference to build up to the game. Thomas Tuchel and Ben Chilwell addressing the media.
I think in terms of adapting to the result, is easier for Porto because they know very, very well what they need to do. They need to score 3 goals if they want to go through. So for them, it's absolutely clear. For us, if we start in this, we could absolutely lose our head, because what does it mean? That is enough to lose 1-0, it's good to have a draw, it's better to have a 1-0 for us. Why should we enter in this thinking? We should rely on what we do good and what we are best in, and we will not change our approach to a game because of a result that we had last week. We are what we are, we have a certain way of playing, and we will try to bring it to the best level, and then we see. They're a very strong outfit with a lot of very technically gifted players, but you know, I think the manager touched on the fact that they're a very proud team as well. And there's a semi-finals of the Champions League up for grabs, so you know, we know it's definitely not over. We're not going to be going into tomorrow complacent, because you know, we know the job's only half done. So you know, it's very important that we go into the game tomorrow with that same mentality we did the first game. We decided again to bring him from the bench against Crystal Palace, and honestly, this decision I will take tomorrow morning when I see him today in training, and then when we reflect on all the others, how they feel in central midfield. Normally it's hard to imagine a game like this without Engie on the same time. We need to really be absolutely careful about him personally, that we don't take risks with his health and with his injury situation. So the question maybe for tomorrow is, do we want him to start, or do we absolutely want him to finish the game for us? Because there's also a possibility of 120 minutes. This is the question, and honestly it's not answered yet. I will do this tomorrow morning with my staff. You know, give me the confidence to score a goal like that. You know, the fact that if I get in them situations again, that hopefully I can, you know, replicate it and, you know, try and score a few more goals. You know, the game on Saturday, I got a bit of stick off Mason and Callum when chopped in on my right foot and, you know, had a shot and didn't pass the ball. Got a bit of stick off them for that, but yeah, I think getting in them positions, it's important that, you know, maybe start taking on more shots, and yeah, scoring a few more goals would be nice. Yeah, well, if we want to finish the season with a trophy, we should better win both matches. Otherwise, could be difficult. Otherwise, could be difficult, because Premier League title will not be our job to lift a trophy at the last match day of Premier League this season. Yeah, but what does it help to reflect too much about it? I mean, we have to play the game tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and the most important for me is that we're fully focused on what we do, that we forget that we have already a result, that we forget what we did in Crystal Palace, because it's the past, and there's nothing more uninteresting in football than the past.
Matchday Live, the place to be for all the best coverage of Chelsea versus Porto in the Champions League. Join Joe Flemings and the gang for all the build-up from 10 to 7 tomorrow night. It is an 8 o'clock kickoff UK time in Seville. The Blues with that 2-0 lead going into the second leg. Here, no goals so far. Let's have a look back at the best bits of the opening 45. And after Southampton started quickly, Chelsea had the better of the opportunities. Great ball that from Angerin. Sam and McClelland probably should have scored.
Yeah, at that stage you probably didn't realise that was going to be Chelsea's finest moment maybe of the first half in terms of the quality of chance. Just stretching a little bit, didn't get off the ground, but yeah, it was a good chance at that stage.
This was really the only opportunity that Southampton had in the first half. It was a slash from Shapshay, got the final touch there.
Yeah, it was Nlundulu causing the mayhem, wasn't it, up against Simiyu, keeping the ball alive, using his body to good effect. And yeah, unfortunately for Southampton's perspective, Chapchet with the effort, the centre-half rather than the centre-forward.
Silko Thomas is showing some nice touches on his PL2 debut. Set up Lewis, who tried to find George Nunn there. Been a great goal.
Yeah, Lewis has been the one, hasn't he? He's been buzzing around. He's picked it up in some really dangerous areas, just couldn't connect with Nunn on that occasion. But the centre-half pairing of Southampton look a little bit not the same wavelength on occasions.
And that was the case here when Thomas found himself in all sorts of room. I think maybe a player with a bit more experience than the 16-year-old might have made his decision a bit quicker there, I suppose.
Yeah, he's done well on the ball, I think, in tight little spots, but this was the moment, wasn't it? Wonderful play from Andrew. Not seen him with those driving runs too often in the first half, and yeah, Thomas, unfortunate that his first touch just got a little bit stuck.
And then Simiyu, he had a good headed chance when he turned out to be offside. That one was even better.
Yeah, just so easy, isn't it, really, to get that first touch on the ball from a Chelsea point of view. And that one should have been directed towards the corners. They've had enough chances in the first half from set pieces alone, probably to be just ahead in this game.
Good goalkeeping there from Bycroft to come out and smother Marcel Lewis.
Yeah, again, no, Lewis making something of nothing, really. Always on the front foot, really sharp movement, anticipating. And yeah, credit to Bycroft there for a good block.
From the subsequent corner, Andrew, the next player to go close with a headed opportunity. It's funny, isn't it? You think back to it and it felt like a fairly even first half, and then if you're judging it in terms of chances, it was not.
Yeah, don't look happy, do they? I mean, Ethan Burnett makes a kind of challenge on Andrew in the end, but look at the space he's got there. Burnett, again, is the closest player. I'd always be more comfortable, even though I was a centre-forward, feeling your opponent, you know, making it difficult for them to run rather than standing in a zone and trying to attack it like that.
Especially if it's a red zone. Sun starting to dip over Surrey. Second half not too far away, but while we await it, let's have a look back at how the first team got on Saturday. They made the short trip to Selhurst Park and made short work of beating Crystal Palace.
Whipped in toward Pulisic, good save by Ita. Really excellent ball in as well from Mason Mount. Pulisic couldn't have done much more.
Everything was right except for the finish. It just didn't go in the goal. There's another chance for Havertz.
Can he get a shot off? He can! Oh. He's bent it into the corner and put Chelsea in front. Kai Havertz breaks the deadlock. A big, big goal for him. Palace just haven't got going at all here.
No, we've got out the blocks very quickly. Of course, the goal will be a massive plus for us.
Might be another one here for Christian Pulisic. Oh, yes! How about this from Chelsea? Tearing Crystal Palace apart. And Havertz, seconds after scoring, turns to creator for Christian Pulisic, who scores on this ground for the second season running. Ball over the top, lovely for Havertz. Oh, what a goal this would be. Guaita saved it. Can Pulisic put in the rebound? Not quite. What a shame. I mean, you're talking goal of the season if that goes in. And from Mount, good ball as well, 3-0. Kurt Zuma against Crystal Palace again, and with half an hour on the clock, Chelsea may well have put this game to bed. It's Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3.
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
He's Schlupp. Oh, it's a good ball, and they have got a goal back. And guess who? Christian Benteke against Chelsea again. Now supplying James, got some space to work with. And at the back post is Christian Pulisic to put the cherry on top of the cake for Chelsea. A second of the day for him, a fourth for the Blues. Reece James immediately involved. And any doubt about the final result of this match is surely over now. It's Palace 1, Chelsea 4. Well, what an excellent result for Chelsea. Back into the Premier League's top 4 again. Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 4.
Christian, that was an incredible start by the team. It looked like you'd had 3 weeks off, not 3 days. That was an amazing start.
Yeah, that was the key to our game. I think we came out with so much intensity. After ball losses, we were really just all over them, and we were able to dominate that first half and finish our chances. And yeah, that gave us a really good start to the game.
It seemed like, I don't know if this was a plan or just how it worked out when you were out there, but you knew what Palace would do. They didn't play a narrow block like that, so we switch it quick. We get it into Ben, we get it into Callum, and then you lot can run off it. Was that always the plan in the build-up? I know you've only had a couple of days to train for it.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of dynamic players that we can get the ball to, switch sides, and it can't be easy to defend, I would imagine. So we showed that today, and yeah, it worked out really well.
Suddenly, after going a little while without, you got 3 goals in a week.
Yeah, it feels good to be back playing, and I'm very confident right now, so I'm feeling good.
For about 2 hours, Liverpool took 4th place. West Ham could take it back tomorrow. It's incredibly tense in there, isn't it, with just a few games left for everybody?
Yeah, it's going to be a good race. It was last season, and we're ready for the challenge.
Great to see Christian back amongst the goals of late. See whether he features against Porto in Seville tomorrow night. Such a big week for the Chelsea first team, with the FA Cup semi-final to come on Sunday as well, and such a big week for us as well. Plenty of live action coming your way. Matchday Live is at 6:50 tomorrow, and we've got the 5th round of the Youth Cup as mentioned on Thursday. We've also got the Chelsea women's team in FA Cup action against the London City Lionesses on Friday as well, and then Matchday Live, the FA Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Manchester City. It's a 5:30 kickoff UK time. We're on air from 4:20. We'll hear from Thomas Tuchel before that match as well. Always plenty to look forward to at the business end of the season whenever Chelsea are involved. Here though, the Blues looking to turn 1 point into 3. And actually, Sam, I guess there might be even more spaces in that Southampton backline as the second half wears on, because, as I mentioned, really they need 3 points from this match rather than 1. They'll have to start pushing players forward.
Yeah, they'll probably want to have a little bit more on Chelsea's goal. Some of the approach play's been good. I think the centre forward, Ndulu, has shown some nice touches, but not in an area where he's really threatened Chelsea's goal. So they'll have to improve. I think it's a really good challenge for Chelsea, a different type of opponent. You come up against a lot of sides in the under-18s and the under-23s, teams that are going to sit in, try and soak up pressure and hit Chelsea on the counter-attack. And this is a different way about going about it. And when you're developing as a younger player, it's all about, yes, taking the instruction from your coaches, but also problem-solving when you're out there and being a good teammate and communicating and such like. And that's what a game like tonight calls for, really, because it's tough. It's tough playing up against the side that have got a real identity, close you down aggressively, and your touch and your passing has got to be spot on. And to this point, that's probably not been quite good enough. And that's what Andy and John, I'm sure, are saying to the players: move it quicker, move it crisper, switch the play when they're pressing you. And that's how you get joy. And especially Lewis and Andrew, and use those two as the catalyst. You can get them turned, running at the Southampton defence, running into those spaces which are vacated by the fullbacks. That's where the chances are going to come from.
Yeah, Southampton had plenty of possession, but didn't really look like they had the penetration to go with it. He'll be thinking about who he can bring off the bench as well, if necessary. Might see Brian Fearbema later as Chelsea look for a goal, hoping to see some of Xavier Mbuyamba as well for the first time. It's a difficult job, isn't it, for Andy Myers when he knows that he's missing regular players from this team, and having to gel people from different age groups together who haven't played together, don't know much about each other. You know, you've got 21-year-old Dujon Sterling on the left side of Chelsea's defence, and 5 years his junior Silko Thomas the other side.
Yeah, it's constant juggling, isn't it? I suppose from day to day, which players you're going to be working as part of your group, who's going over to work with the first team, and obviously with a week like today, the Youth Cup has to take precedent, doesn't it? It is the tournament for the younger players. They'll be desperate to play in it. The ones that have been starring in the 23s, like Livramento. I think Brian Fierbaima still qualifies as well, so that's why his game time this evening is going to be limited, and he's an obvious option for Andy Myers now, especially, you know, when they're going to compress the game. Southampton, you want someone who can run in behind. So he'll be an option, and possibly someone who can come on and snatch maximum points for Chelsea if it stays level.
Yeah, some of those players you will see if you join us for the game on Thursday did play for the under-18s, who had a thumping great win in the PL South on Saturday. They beat Aston Villa 7-0 away from home. Miles Peart-Harris, who usually plays for this team, got a hat-trick and an assist in that match. Here, though, we're ready for the second half. Chelsea kicking from right to left as we look at it. No changes to the team for this second 45 as yet.
Higher Romello, higher Romello, higher Romello. Go on, Dan, they're with you, Dan. Go on.
Wadey thumping it up to halfway. Here's Nunn.
Close that net, close that net. Close the net. Sam, that'll be you, Sam. Yes, Dan, this one's you. This one's you.
Sterling.
Oh, yes, come on. He's travelling quick. Good, speed up.
Frith showed too much of that to Finnegan.
Good. Runs deep.
Mitchell gave it away. Ballo up to Nunn. Need to lay it off quickly so he could get on his bike.
Go on, jump. Good, perfect.
Wadey forced into the error. Well, not really forced into the error, just shanking his clearance out for a throw.
Just make sure the slide is quick enough. On the switch, slide really quick.
Physical battle between Nunn and Ramsey, and Nunn hasn't shied away from that.
Okay, let's move. Get it moving, please. Jack, come on, let's get it in. Let's get it in. Next level. Go on, next level. Ethan, you need to stay in the middle of the pitch. Get up.
Not a good clearance that from Bycroft. Sterling couldn't take advantage of it though. Or Frith rather, that was Sterling putting his foot in. This is Mitchell on the chase. McEachran was fouled even though he won the ball.
Good defending from McEachran. Doing this type of work really diligently, but just not seeing him on the ball like we're used to around the opponent's 18-yard box. So him and Ballo are a real different type of challenge for them tonight. Still, hopefully, can have an effect going forward, but it's all about dogged hard work right now for them.
Interested to see where George McEachran goes next. Couple of loans in Holland, which haven't worked out largely for pandemic-related reasons, it must be said. The season was curtailed last time round. I think that would be a style of football that would suit him, maybe more than going into a League One side.
Yeah, some real success stories at the moment, isn't there? Gallagher again, Gurhey playing well. Luke McCormick, someone who I've seen doing excellently at Bristol Rovers. Ian Martson, another one at Charlton, playing as a wide player at the moment.
Is Andrew in? Yeah, back out in Holland. Armando Broja having a good season for Vitesse, which has earned him full honours for Albania.
Jump with him. Jump with him. Good. Stay in.
Ballet. McEachran happy to accept a throw in there.
Ethan, you're coming so far across, I don't know why. Dan, you're the next one, Dan. Go on, wait. Come on in, Kaz. Romello, steady. Sam, higher now. Sam, higher. This is you, Sam.
McClelland.
Sam. Romello, steady. No splits. Go on in. Romello. Sam.
All over the top, looking for none. Really important flick from Kane Ramsey. That's poor though, Nunn almost able to pinch it back.
He's held a little bit short there, the centre-half. It's definitely a foul on Nunn, I think. Watching it live, I wasn't sure which way the referee was going to give it. Has he given it to Southampton? He might have done. Has he sent him off?
He's got a card in his hand.
Well, he was booked, wasn't he, in the first half?
Kane Ramsey, the number 5, yeah, he's had a second yellow by the looks of things. He's not going quietly. Well, that could have massive ramifications for Southampton's season. They're going to have to play out with 10 men here. Ramsey still arguing his case. I've got to say, Sam, I think that's a little bit harsh. Both players fully committed in going for the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Nunn was bright, actually, because he was sold a little bit short. I'd say Taiwo, I think, just lent it back to the centre-half. He thought it was going to be there to just clear. Oh, he gets the ball, doesn't he?
And like you, I wasn't sure which way the free kick was going. It wasn't an egregious foul by any means.
I think he plays the ball. There's a little bit of contact on the follow-through, but I think that's unfortunate, isn't it? So
well,
lucky.
They'll have to do some reorganising now. Got a free kick to defend first. I wonder if there's a temptation here for Marcel Lewis to just whip this toward that near post. Goalkeeper offering it to him. Clipped in a great ball, another free header. And it results in another comfortable save. Chelsea should have had a couple of goals from those kind of positions tonight. McEachran, the latest to waste the opportunity.
Yeah, he wasn't to know, but look at Angerin's position. He just steers that in, opens his body, I would think. And McEachran, not known for his headed ability, I would say. Just takes it off his toes, but couldn't blame him. It was a really presentable opportunity for McEachran.
Morris cleared away. So it looks like Burnett, the number 6, might have dropped into the back line.
Romelu, Kazim, still in your 10th position. Dan, play off the middle one, Dan.
Different onus on Chelsea now, I suppose, Sam. I feel like you have to go and get the 3 points when you play for this long against 10 men.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be confident that they can do so, but have to wait and see how Southampton are going to go about it. It looks like they're going to remain quite positive with bodies up the pitch. You could hear the coach just talking to the 2 wide players, wants them to play close to the centre forward and Lindelof. Just instructing him to play right up against McClelland. There we go.
Good recovery run from Simiu initially, and Lindelof, it broke 4 and then it's stuck in for 10-man Southampton to take the lead. A massive goal for them in their bid for survival. Kazim Alain is the player who's got it. And just, 2 minutes after being reduced to 10 men, Southampton go in front.
Yeah, one of the worst ways to concede as well. The position of McClelland initially allows Lindelof to get in. Somehow they scramble it away. It looks like Dujon Sterling's done a good job actually coming over. Looks like he's going to clear his lines, makes something of a challenge, but the ricochet takes it perfectly. And Alain able to just stick it away nicely, side-footed, good finish when it comes. But a mess, you have to say, from one long ball from the goalkeeper.
4th goal of the season in PL2 for Kazim Alain.
Alan, they all need to know their jobs. Romelu, Kazim.
Oh, he's got a problem to solve now.
Dan, just keep the net tight. Steady. Dan, that's it. Now you just drop in, close the net, Dan. Come on, in, and that's fine. You just slide. That's fine. You just slide now. Up, even towards the ball.
McClelland.
Slide. Now you can go. Now you can go. Keep it that way. Keep it that way.
Frith trying to get away from 3 Southampton players. He managed to keep it in initially.
That's fine. So all you got to do now is make sure you keep the distance close between you and the sixes. They can pass it, and then the trigger will be when it goes from in to in. Then let them press it, right? Right, get up around Dan. 2 10s off Dan. Dan, in the middle one. In the middle one, let them run off.
Of course, Southampton will be in absolutely no rush to restart play from this point onwards.
That's it. Run off him. Romello, don't stand up alongside him. Run off him. Go on, go on. Kazim. Go on, Kazim. Go on.
Simu heading it back toward his own goal. McClelland lost track of the ball for a moment. Mitchell moving out to, I'll say, Taiwo. Managed to get his cross in. Could be a second here for Southampton. Swing and a miss first time round and then slashed into the stands by Sam Bellis. Chelsea need to wake up here. Southampton have responded superbly to going down to 10 men.
Yeah, again, it's only half cleared on the far post. Simu getting back in. First opportunities for Elaine, and then a real slice from a good opportunity. Midfield player joining in with the attack. Have actually looked more dangerous in the last 5 minutes with 10 men than they did in the entirety of the first half. But credit them for keeping quite an attacking lineup.
Lewis, meanwhile, has found Silko Thomas. Cut back to McEachran. So many bodies in the box, though. One of them's none, and then Lewis, too. Beat them both. Flag was up over on the far side.
Yeah, again, another ball played into the middle and a Chelsea run. 2 Chelsea runners not tracked at all by Southampton. You break the offside trap, you beat the offside trap, and that's another great opportunity. Just a little bit too heavy. I thought none was actually closer seeing it live, but yeah, just played into the space where they couldn't quite reach it.
Runners! Kazim! Runners! Go on, then, jump! Brilliant. Steady, 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 steady.
McEachran.
Steady. That's fine, steady, Dan. Yeah, protect the red zone, Ryan, now. Sam, higher. Fly. Sam. Fly. Steady then, Sam, out you come. Yes, good, James. Come on, Sam.
Andrew.
Good.
Chelsea need to get him on the ball as much as possible.
Steady, steady. Ready, ready. Ethan, slide. Yeah. Well done, well done.
Frith wasn't able to keep that in. Let's say Taiwo's throw. Frith hammering it to safety. It'll turn into a good pass from Bycroft with an Lundaloo chasing it down and forcing McClelland to put it out for a throw.
That's the quality Jack with it.
So when James jumps out and he jumps out, you just got to make sure one pass comes to you.
Yellow card there for Otsi Taiwo, I think, for taking his time over the throw-in. Derby 2-1 up at Arsenal. Remember, Arsenal 4 points ahead of Southampton at the start of play, so they've cut that gap to 1. 1-1 between Derby, between Leicester and Spurs. Bellis looking for a Lunderloo meanwhile. McClellan got in the way of that one.
Stay in! Come on! Shoot, switch! Dick, higher! Come on, Romero! No. Slide!
Frith.
Steady now, Dan. Yes, go on then.
It's a nice switch from McEachran out to Thomas. Looking to attack Morris here. Into Angerin. And still Tino Angerin for 1-1. Never in doubt, was it? Once he got himself into the shooting position, you knew he had the quality to finish it. And finish it he did. And Chelsea are back level.
Brilliant goal. Not seen enough of that, but McEachran identifies the pass that's going to really hurt Southampton. 3-4 players maybe out of the game with that one pass. And this is really good play, you have to say, from Thomas. And the touch from Angerin, the second one, just absolutely takes the centre-half out of the game, Chapchet. Then it's all about whether he can finish from an area of the pitch. He finds himself in so often that position, always confident he's going to find the far corner. Brilliant goal.
He's not far off being a genuine two-footed player, is he? Saw his control, as you say, that second touch was brilliant, and then finished with the other foot. So naturally gifted.
Yeah, he gets into that exact position so often. And has a really good knack of striking it cleanly across the goalkeeper normally. Lovely goal, and that will be a big clue to the Chelsea players how they can get real joy now. They'll be tiring against 10 men as well. Little passes and then big switch. Keep switching the ball. So Southampton won't be able to live with you. They've put a lot into this performance and they've done very, very well. But it is a very intensive way that they go about it, and they'll be starting to tire now, I'm sure, especially down to 10 men. They'll be thinking about changing.
Romero, higher in that pocket, so Dan flicks it. Romero, go on, go on, go on. Bring the line up. Bring the line up. Get up, Alan, up, play off Dan.
Well, Southampton haven't scored more than once in any of their last 9 games.
Second ball, Ryan.
Mention how big 3 points would be for them tonight. I guess, though, Sam, they've got a decision to make fairly soon, haven't they? Is a point here a decent result, or do they feel they've got to go for all 3? Might get to the stage in 10 minutes or so where they think, well, we've got 10 men, we're playing Chelsea, maybe we take a draw and then go into the Leicester game and try and win that.
Yeah, I think it's been in the balance, hasn't it? And they'll be buoyed and confident the way that they've responded to going down to 10 men. Scored a goal, created another. You can see the setup there. The front 3 quite high up the pitch. They're looking to join in with the central striker, the 2 players playing off him. At the moment, the shape suggests they want to go and win this game.
Thomas. He's the goal scorer, Angerin.
Get up. Ethan, you're marking in the box. Win something. Yes, Dan. Slide.
Follow on for Sterling.
Slide. Booster Ryan. Booster Ryan.
Good feet from Frith initially, then he overran it. And of course, Southampton are going to say, well, showed a second yellow card to Kane Ramsey for that, so we want a first for Declan Frith, and indeed that is what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just a bit clumsy, isn't it? It's just a fraction late. It doesn't mean to injure the player, foul the player. But yeah, it's probably in response to what he produced a few moments ago. Really harsh yellow card, second yellow card for a Southampton player.
Virtually on the same blade of grass. Oh, it's the way his foot bends, isn't it? You see, it makes it painful for Finnegan.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty, the collision, but it's not malicious at all. It's just clumsy.
I hope for Ryan Finnegan will be that it's painful and not much more than that. Gives the Chelsea boys the chance to get some refreshment and some instruction too. We are going to see the first Blues change as well. And it is going to be a moment that we have been looking forward to for much of this season. It is Xavier Mbayamba making his first appearance for Chelsea. Coveted for a long time, Dutch player, can play in defence or in the middle of midfield. He was most recently with Barcelona's B team. Left them to come to Chelsea in the summer, but got injured in pre-season. That's why we haven't seen him so far. But he is a player for whom there are big hopes. And that was Declan Frith's last involvement in the game, by the way. It was he who gave way. Decent pedigree, Sam. You come from Barcelona. He's played in the UEFA Youth League as well. Sure, he's feeling some nerves, though. He's had to wait so long for his first appearance in a blue shirt.
Yeah, he'd be keen to give a really good impression. Now he's out there, but signs have been very good, I think. Looks to be a real competitor, aggressive. Might mean that Dujon Sterling shifts his position maybe up to this left-hand side. That would be my guess. Or maybe Andy Miser decided it's time to tinker with the shape, go searching for this winner.
Well, Finnegan was not able to continue. He has gone off, and Olufunwa, the number 12 for Southampton, is the player who's come on to take his place.
Drop in, Dan. Ethan, you're too close to Sam, Ethan. Sam, slightly higher. Sam, straight across the booster. Steady, Dan. Steady. That's not the one.
McClelland.
Ethan, make sure that 11's in your shadow.
Cross was just behind none, but it's come nicely for Marcel Lewis. And then Thomas! What a way to mark his debut. Brilliant finish from Silko Thomas, and Chelsea have turned the game on its head in a matter of minutes. He teed up the first one for Angerin, and now he's got one for himself. Chelsea 2, Southampton 1, Silko Thomas the scorer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good delivery from the right-hand side. And Marcel Lewis shows brilliant awareness, the presence of mind. He knows that he can't find that far corner himself. There's two Southampton players converging on him, and he just shifts it wonderfully. It's a lovely little touch. It enables Thomas to take it first time, and it's a lovely finish. They've not had too many opportunities in this game other than the set pieces. Angerin really crisp, and now Thomas finds the corner beautifully.
16-year-old Silko Thomas trying to suppress his smile. Well, said it was a good response from Southampton to going a goal behind. Been an excellent response. Oh, sorry, to going a man down. Been an excellent response from Chelsea to going a goal behind.
Yeah, it was actually Dujon Sterling putting the ball in, wasn't it? So Thomas has switched over to this left-hand side. That's where he gets his goal from. And we shouldn't be surprised, should we? Because it was a real direct wing play from Dujon Sterling, his first involvement since he's been pushed higher up the pitch. So good little tactical change, pays off straight away.
There's McEachran clipping it right side for Simiu. Angerin's touch so clever, Sterling so quick. Oh, brought down. Referee's assistant was flagging. Given a corner, I think. Free kick rather than a corner. Good position, this. Again, might be a temptation to have a shot. Might also be a temptation to roll it back for Tiano Ballo. Lewis whipped it in. Great ball as well. And Mbuyamba! How about that? He's been on the pitch for a matter of minutes. Xavier Mbuyamba, who's had to wait so long for his first feel of the ball in a Chelsea shirt. Well, with one of his first touches of it, he stuck it in the net and surely wrapped up the points for the Blues tonight.
Yeah, again, a set piece. Chelsea looking so dangerous, attacking the ball well. And Mbuyamba just can't get the contact on the first one. Might be Simiu, but he reacts brilliantly on the half volley and just steers it. Great power. Goes flying past the goalkeeper.
Hey, come on, Derry! Come on! Alan, come on!
2 goals in quick-fire fashion here for Chelsea. And they've surely taken this game away from Southampton, who brought on Jaden Smith and Cam Ledwidge. Ledwidge is an Ireland under-21 international. Jaden Smith will join the attack.
Forward! Forward! Derry! Forward! Come on! Get up! Sam, narrow, Romello, closer to Jaden, Romello, come on, get in! Kaz, higher Kaz! Higher Kaz!
Sterling forward.
Get up!
Confirmation of those changes. It's a like-for-like swap at left back with Morris going off.
Good, good. Yes, ref.
Like a foul on McEachran. Referees let it go on.
Runners deep. Good, good. Yeah, get up. Press defense. Derry. That should be Alan tight.
And Lunderloo is the other Southampton player who's given way, by the way.
Jaden, drop in. Kazim, in. Wait, wait. No, don't split you. Go on, slide. Slide this way, this way.
Lewis couldn't pick out none. He's managed to get possession again, had a go from range. Well, it took Chelsea a while to make that man advantage count, but they've certainly done that in the last 10 minutes or so.
Just been ridiculously clinical, because it's not been...
Which is so against what we've seen for so long this season.
They've not had huge spells at any stage of the game, even since Southampton have gone down to 10, where they've been really knocking on the door, created 2 good chances from open play, and the finishing was brilliant. For a young man as well, playing his first game at this level, first start anyway, Thomas, that was a really accomplished finish, beautifully made by Sterling and Lewis, and Anderin's goals, individual brilliant. So really impressed with the mentality, going behind, could have felt sorry for themselves against a difficult opponent. Talked about working out for themselves, and they've certainly done this in the second half.
Simi UL forward is laid it off to Angerin. Ballo. 4-1 when these two met on the South Coast earlier in the season. Can Chelsea add another, I wonder, before the evening's through?
Steady, steady. Good. Play away, Derry. Good, good. Get up. Well done, Sam. Come on, higher, Sam. Higher.
Well, he's picked the ball out of his net once, but I don't think Ethan Wade's had a save to make other than that.
No, that could have been the first on the target, was it? Yeah, that one snapshot in the first half, that whistle past the post, but yeah, good finish as well. Didn't have a prayer with that one.
Cam, get across quicker, Cam. Good.
Ballo.
Steady, no splits, no splits. Yes, see? Yes, see?
Thomas got a lucky run of the ball there.
Last step. Last step. Set up quickly.
Taken quickly and short. McEachran in.
Get out to the ball.
Andrew in.
Get out.
Worth a hit.
Steady, Jack. Up. Barry. Barry, up. Barry, up. Come on, Z. Up. Come on, Alan. Get him up. Get close to Jada Romello. Kazim. Close.
Well, Southampton will be pleased that Spurs have taken the lead away to Leicester.
Come on. Higher.
All square in the game between Derby and Arsenal elsewhere. Andrew in. Really good to see him making that run, albeit he just pulled up now, Sam. But at this stage of the game, 76 minutes, he's struggled to put back-to-back performances together throughout the season, Tino Andrin, as he tries to get over these injury problems. So vital minutes in the bank for him tonight, but not just that, still affecting the game deep into it.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about it often enough, how he has to be managed. Picked up a lot of injuries for a young player, but such potential. Obviously, just hoping that he can get through the next couple of seasons and keep developing, and those first-team opportunities will surely arise. Either via a loan move or maybe a few minutes in the cup competition, which he's already done. So, yeah, he's got such great potential, and again tonight he's been a difference maker, hasn't he?
Yep, already featured under Thomas Tuchel, came off the bench at Barnsley. Played against Krasnodar in the Champions League earlier in the season too. Here's Thomas, he enjoyed a fine PL2 debut.
Yeah, it's just enabled George McEachran to start getting a bit more of the ball, deeper position. Two Southampton forwards, I think, stopped Chelsea's two midfield players early in the first half, been able to go and get the ball and dictate from deep, but obviously down to 10 men now. McEachran can go, get on the ball, switch the play, pull the strings, done it to good effect.
Fiabema, the Norwegian, on for the closing stages here. Taking the place of Tiano Ballo. Notable, Sam, that Ballo got a hearty slap on the back from your mate John Harley. Recognition of a hard job, well done, albeit probably not one that he enjoyed that much in a different area of the pitch to where he usually operates.
Yeah, he probably wanted to be a bit further forward where he could affect the game in terms of assists and shots. Been having a really good period, but yeah, it gives everything for the team and really diligent wherever he's positioned on the pitch. I'm sure he'd rather be playing as a number 10, but Marcel Lewis and Andrin got the job tonight and done a fine one at that.
Finishing with two up front by the looks of it. Fiabema alongside none. Might have seen Fiabema score against AFC Fylde in the Youth Cup on this ground a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a good change as well this stage of the game. I think Andrin's just dropped back into Ballo's midfield position, and you can just allow Lewis to be the number 10, solitary number 10 really. And go after some more goals with two strikers on there.
Up, Darry, up. With both jobs, Ethan. Yes, Sam, higher. Both jobs, Sam.
McEachran. Sterling trying to twist and turn away from his man, just overran it. His attitude's been spot on, I think, Dijon Sterling, since he's come back into this team. Mentioned he's had such a long time out, but you can see that the quality is still there.
Undoubtedly. Obviously, you're worried about the condition because he's been out for a while, but he looks fit, looks strong, and his touch has been in from the first minute, really. I remember him receiving one, played it out wide, left really crisply, and he's continued in that vein. I think it's been a very strong performance from him, and that would be someone who will be being watched by clubs at a lot of different levels. Expect him to to get going again, really, because of his potential again. Like Andrew, at a very young age, he looked like he was going to be a top player. Obviously, he's been held back a little bit recently, but looks like he's getting back to his best now.
Towards the ball.
Simiu. Bema's touch.
Closing that. Ethan, Derry, Derry, slide. Derry, slide. Come on, Ed, slide quickly. Go on, Ed, and again. Yes. Come on, Kazim.
Lewis.
Get up.
Simiu well advanced here. On he goes, down he goes, penalty. Easy decision for the referee there. Southampton will protest it, but even though we're a long way from it, it looked pretty clear-cut.
Yeah, terrific play. We saw Dujon Sterling with a real marauding run very early on in the first half, and Simiu does likewise. Yeah, he just steps across him there, just making sure that that contact was going to be forthcoming. The Southampton player bought it, didn't he?
Yeah, it was Ledwidge who's only just come onto the pitch. Now then, Lewis Bake not on the pitch tonight. Missed a penalty at this end against Fylde in the Cup. Tino Angerin is looking to score for the second time tonight. Chelsea looking for a second 4-1 win against the Saints this season. Bit of kidology from Jack Bycroft, the Southampton goalkeeper. Short run up for Angerin. Oh, it's a dreadful penalty. He's put it in exactly the same place that Bate did in the Cup here a couple of weeks ago. They look great when they come off those. You look pretty daft if they don't.
Well, he scored one exactly the same way he took that. It just trickled inside the post. It might have been against Manchester City. My memory is a little bit vague, but he's done that before and it's come off. Unfortunately, you look a little bit ridiculous when that happens, but it's one of those things, isn't it? To have the confidence to step up and take it, and even more confidence, I suppose, to take it in that fashion.
You see it occasionally. Lyle Taylor does that all the time when he takes a penalty. Hopefully it shouldn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Good tackle from Mbayamba. Haven't seen him doing much of his day job.
Interesting that McEachran didn't fancy it after notching last time out. And that was very much out of the Jorginho mould, wasn't it?
The hop, skip and the goal.
Yeah.
Thomas maybe just tweak something, stretching for that. He's had a really encouraging debut, Silko Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like a really good technician, doesn't he? Good technical player. Held the position well. Did some really nice things in the first half. Didn't have loads of the ball, but what he did do in tight little spaces when he was being closed by a number of Southampton players, kept the ball, always tried to do the right thing, and got himself a brilliantly taken goal at a really important time of the game.
Stay in. Be the ball thief, Jaden.
Simiu trying to keep the ball from the thief. He's won a corner. So same two players coming together who did for the penalty a moment ago there, but Ledwidge got the timing right that time.
Free yourself up, Z. Get up. Get up.
McEachran thought about having a go there. I don't think that will count as a shot.
Come on, up you come. Come on, Sam. Up.
Not much point in time wasting now. You're 3-1 down.
Go on, then. Runners, Romello, go on. Go on.
McClelland heading back toward his own goal, and Biamba volleying it back up to halfway.
Good, Sam. Stay in. Unlucky. Yes, close to the front. Good, Sam. Brilliant, Sam. You need runs deep.
Bellis flicked it into the channel, and it span off the boot of Thomas. No foul on none. Well, that is the end of Silko Thomas's PL2 debut. Did see him just pull up slightly when he was stretching for the ball a moment ago, but a goal and an assist for the 16-year-old on his debut. And Alfie Gilchrist, who we've seen in the Youth Cup this season, could come on for the final few minutes in the last Chelsea change.
Larry, you got to slide quicker. Come on, Cam. Larry, move.
McEachran.
Good.
Well, one back by Angerin. Couldn't feed it through for Fiabema. Cross from Sterling, deflected behind for a corner. That third goal really took the wind out of Southampton's sail, didn't it? They've hardly got over halfway since then.
Yeah, it would have been interesting had they been able to hold on to the lead for a little bit longer than they did. To see if maybe they would have just tinkered with the shape just to make them a little bit less offensive. Stayed quite open, didn't they? Even though when they went down to 10 men, you would have thought the first change would have been just to shore things up and try and escape London with a point.
Simiyu doing what he said he should have done in the first half in heading it back from where it had come, but just couldn't quite get the angle to get it past Bycroft.
Yeah, so many times little floated balls have just caused the Southampton backline problems. Been able to just break beyond them and get into good positions to get headed chances away.
Goes from bad to worse for Southampton, because Arsenal are now 3-2 up in their game. They're taking on Derby, so that's good news for Chelsea. Otsi Taiwo.
Come in. Excellent, Sam Bellis.
Lewis.
Nice decision, Darry. Good, Camilla. Good, Camilla. Go on. Good reaction. Good. Yes. That's it. That's it. Go on. That's fine. That's fine.
5-minute cameo for George Nunn at left wing back, it would seem.
All about flexibility. Here's Sterling. Simiyu now the right winger.
Get up.
Nunn's floaty cross.
Yeah. Always good for players to play in unfamiliar roles. I think Gilchrist got into the middle, hasn't he? And Andrin's pushed up one position again. Just looks like he's seized up, doesn't he, Tino Andrin? Oh, maybe a little bit of cramp.
Last knock-ins of the game. Chelsea were a goal down. All the action's come in the second half. A red card for Kane Ramsey. 4 minutes after that, Southampton were ahead. It didn't take Chelsea long to get back into it, and by the 68th minute they were ahead.
should be Alan. You cover Z. You can push right in. Come on. In.
So it's Spurs away on Sunday, then Manchester United on the 23rd, that's a Friday night, and then back-to-back games against Blackburn to finish for Chelsea. Right at the end of this month, and the final game scheduled for the 7th of May. Chap chat, hearing there are going to be 4 minutes of stoppage time. Southampton can score quickly. They might fancy their hopes of a comeback, but they haven't really threatened that so far. Smith. Mitchell. Let's say Taiwo playing it down the line. Lewis. Intercepted by Alain. Let's say Taiwo. Just no room for him to get the cross in, none, and Mbayamba making sure of that. Simiyu. Chelsea happy to just run out the clock now.
Steady, steady. Slide, start to slide. Start to slide, yes, Barry. Alan, come on. Slightly higher, Jaden, just slightly higher.
Simiyu again. Here's McEachran. Southampton look absolutely shattered now.
Wait, slide, game in your shadow, go, go, go. Brilliant, Derry. Yes, Jaden, just come here, Jaden. Go on, use your body, go on.
Gilchrist header.
Then Alan, good, come on.
Well, he'll be really happy with how his team responded to going a goal down.
Yeah, it would have been concerned, wouldn't he, for a couple of minutes, but responded in brilliant fashion. Scored some excellent goals, posed a threat from free kicks throughout the 90 minutes. That was probably always inevitable.
Oh, shout for another penalty there as Andrin went down.
Go on, toe it.
Referee's going to bring that back for a free kick to Southampton meanwhile.
Don't even bother.
Yellow card coming out for George McEachran for the tackle.
Jack, if you're going to do it one side. Do it one side.
Might actually have been because he kicked the ball away, but either way, the game's about to end. Andrin. Card going to come out again here right at the end. was Chapche that time, the number 4.
Yeah, I think Anjorin just getting a bit of a rest. I don't think he's hurt. Brilliant run again. This stage of the game you were just speaking about him, Matt, the one on the edge of the Southampton box, and again they're picking it up in his own half, and great close control, power late on in the game.
Simiyu going for goal, thinking it might be the last kick of the game, which indeed it was, and all the action here in the second half. But Chelsea coming out on the right side of it. They were a goal down 9 minutes after the restart when Ollie Ain put Southampton ahead. That after Ramsey had been shown a second yellow card. But Chelsea roared back. Goals from Anjorin, Thomas and Mbuyamba meant that Anjorin's late penalty miss didn't matter too much. It's the Blues who take the points here. They've beaten struggling Southampton at Kingsmeadow by 3-1. Let's have a look back at the key moments of the game before we say goodbye. Well, if this had gone in, it might have been a different story, but really the only chance that Southampton had in the first half was that one from Chapche.
Yeah, it was difficult because of the position he was in the 18-yard box, having gone with the left foot. Didn't have a lot of the target to aim for, considering he was just on the swivel.
Chelsea did have opportunities of their own in the first half. Simiyu with the best of them.
Yeah, throughout the game, really, set pieces were a real problem for Southampton. Nothing sophisticated, really, about Chelsea's movement or the delivery, but just got in time and time again. Ultimately, the goal did come. That was a really good chance for Anjorin, just couldn't direct it towards the far corner. But, yeah, very much an avenue for joy for Chelsea, the set pieces.
Well, this was the red card, second yellow for Kane Ramsey. Did look harsh.
Yeah, plays the ball, doesn't he? So it's just that follow-through. I mean, none doesn't make much of a meal of it either, really. I think it's very harsh.
But Southampton responded well to that. It was only 4 minutes later. A goal as route one as they come in many ways. Alain finishing it off nicely.
Yeah, just a bit of a mess. The line, a bit lopsided. McClellan gets caught underneath the ball, and then neither Simiyu or Sterling can get a meaningful touch. It's fortuitous the way it lands, and credit Alain for the way he sticks it in the corner.
Great response from Chelsea, though, and as you pointed out, Sam, that pass from McEachran really helped set up this goal for Anjorin, although Thomas gets the assist.
Yeah, brilliant ball by McEachran. They were pressing at that point, Southampton, so I think McEachran recognised they were in advanced positions, switched the play. Thomas found Anjorin, and all about the second touch, really. Takes it in nicely, and then that to the side of the centre-half is absolutely superb and a great finish.
This was the second goal, the first for Silko, Thomas.
Lovely stuff from Dujon Sterling. Loved that from Lewis, and the finish from Thomas was excellent as well. Southampton maybe will regret not clearing their lines there. The fullback just misses his kick, but Lewis shaped to shoot. Lovely little back heel, and Thomas gets a really deserved goal. Enjoyed his performance. Looks like an excellent technical player.
And that was the third goal for Xavier Mbuyamba, moments after stepping off the bench, his debut. A good moment for him.
Yeah, good little cameo, gets his goal. Struck a lovely crossfield pass late in the game as well, showed his quality in playing out, and that was really the end of it as a contest.
And it meant that this penalty, which Danel Simiyu won for Chelsea after Ledwidge brought him down, and the subsequent miss thereof by Tino Anjorin, didn't matter too much to anybody but Anjorin, who I'm sure will be cringing watching that back.
Yeah, I mean, it looks brilliant if it goes in the side netting, doesn't it? But be interesting to see what happens the next time he steps up to take one, whether the coaching staff have a word with him or if he can persist with that technique.
And then right at the end, Simiyu trying his best to catch the goalkeeper out, but he couldn't. It didn't matter. Elsewhere, by the way, Spurs won 3-1 at Leicester, Arsenal 3-2 at Derby, but Chelsea, well, they got the win here, albeit with a little bit of help. Start of a busy week for us, plenty of live programming for you to enjoy. Matchday Live building up to Chelsea versus Porto in the Champions League from 6:50 with Joe Flemons and the team. Do join them for that if you can. It does include live commentary of the match as well. On the fifth stand on Friday afternoon, you can hear from Thomas Tuchel ahead of the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City. And we will have all the coverage of that Cup semi-final from Saturday, 4:20. Again, join Joe and the team for that. That'll just about do it for us tonight, though, from Sam Parkin and myself, Matt Davis-Adams. Many thanks for your company. Finished Chelsea 3, Southampton 1. We'll see you again soon.